Hi, I'm Claire, your classic nature lover who is studying environmental engineering to try to preserve the earth for future generations. In 2019, I went to Cornell and I fell in love with college. I went on my first ever backpacking trip right before college started with Cornell, where I met so many wonderful, amazing people who would turn into my adventure buddies.
You guys excited?
Hell yeah!
I was climbing mountains and backpacking with them.
But in the spring of 2020, we got sent home because of COVID.
And quarantine sucked. So during the summer, I thru-hiked the Long Trail in Vermont, and I fell in love with long-distance backpacking. In the fall, we went back to campus, but we still had Zoom classes, and trying to learn engineering classes on Zoom was a challenge. This was not what college was supposed to be. One day, my friend just casually mentioned, what if we took next semester off and hiked the Appalachian Trail?
And so in late November, a seed was planted that on February 28th,
Lucy, Tommy, Davey, and I were gonna hike the Appalachian Trail.
Here we go, the approach trail. It all starts here.
I started off bright and excited, ready for the adventure and the experiences that will change my life. The Appalachian Trail is a continuous footpath that starts in Springer Mountain, Georgia and ends at Mount Katahdin in Maine. The trail traverses 14 states and 2,193.1 miles. In 1921, Benton McKay wrote an article detailing a footpath that traversed all of the Appalachians. And in 1955, Earl Schaefer completed the first thru hike.
The trail goes through the rolling hills of Georgia, the Smoky Mountain National Park, the Blue Ridge Parkway, up through the Shenandoahs, into the rocks of Pennsylvania, and it follows the Mid-Atlantic state bridges all the way through the greens, the whites, and the rugged terrain of southern Maine. With all of these miles, I had to part way with a few faithful friends.
These shoes have been with me since Springer, but it's time that they pass on to a greater world, and we thank them for their service.
You get in a pretty steady routine of waking up to the most beautiful landscapes, hiking through a bunch of miles,
Eating as much food as you possibly can,
Because food is fuel. And that's why whenever a wonderful trail angel would bring us trail magic, we were always so grateful.
Every 4 or 5 days, we would stop into a town, eat as much food as we possibly could, and do a resupply.
The best part about being on trail is you can be as silly and as goofy as you want.
Scalpel, please. Surgery has begun. Where's the wound?
Can you see by the dawn's early light?
I think my favorite part was definitely the people that I met and all the relationships that I made out there.
Hanging out with these amazing people that are also in this video was probably the best part because we had such a good time while we were hiking the trail.
We ended up being a huge trail.
On trail, they call me Aqua Dog.
Hey, my name's Chef. Hey, my name's Gummy.
Hi, my name's Moss Rock.
Hey,
I should go.
I'm Bob.
My name was Geodude.
And my name is Old Chicken.
Your tramily is there for the losses and for the wins.
Yeah, because they'll kick you.
Oh, really?
Through hiking has its ups and downs, though. We hiked through mountainous and rocky terrain, ice and snow, scorching heat, and torrential downpours.
It's raining.
The thing about hiking is you cannot hide from your thoughts. You are out in the middle of nowhere all day, so there's no escaping. And it forces you to re-examine your life, but in a way that you are always reminded that there is good in the world by just being surrounded by the raw beauty of the forest. This is exactly what I wanted. A safe place where I could just work through the deeper and darker feelings of depression while still feeling the love for the life that I was currently living.
The best part of the trail was just getting to be outside every day, doing something that I loved, and not really having any stressors of normal day-to-day life.
I've always loved nature, and I really wanted to just be immersed in it for a while.
Nature. I love to be out in nature, be outside as much as I possibly can.
Nature for me was a place that I could explore all my thoughts.
To the point in through hiking where I'm starting to become very philosophical and very reflective on my own life and how I can be a better person. And one of the biggest parts of that is that I am grappling with the idea that my major is environmental engineering, but at sometimes feels pretty hopeless because I don't know, it feels like sometimes I take one step forward for the environment, but are my actions really making such a difference because there's so much bad in the world, and sometimes it feels like I'm fighting a losing battle.
In the last couple months of college, I was beginning to question what I was even doing. It felt like I was fighting a losing battle.
But one of my professors my freshman year said that in order to have hope, you have to do something. You can't just sit around and do nothing. So I guess that in order to have hope, I have to kind of keep on working and keep on trekking.
But with every amazing day out on trail, you're gonna have a couple bad days also.
I'm not feeling great. I got my COVID vaccine.
And the worst part was basically just the times that I had to hike and we were hiking and I didn't exactly want to.
And my least favorite part of the trail was when I got sick. I got really anemic, so I had to get off trail for a while, and I just missed everybody that I was with, and I missed being out there, so that was really hard.
It turns out hiking is hard, and when you don't have the proper fuel or you don't have the proper energy, it becomes almost impossible.
I couldn't eat because I was so nauseous, so I'm trying to hike today, but it's so hard because it feels like every step is just taking so much energy.
That's what is so freeing about the trail. On trail, you're fueling yourself properly and you're accomplishing these amazing things like climbing mountains. And so all of a sudden, that fear of not being good enough, about being compared to other people, about not even meeting the image that society is expecting of you, it doesn't matter because none of those influences are there. All that matters is you and the hiking and the fact that you're doing this incredibly difficult thing.
I would like to say that that was the only time I questioned why I was on trail or the only time I struggled, but that's never the case. But the trail is so rewarding and you'll never know what you're gonna see next.
We just saw 5 bears! Walking in golden hour.
1,100 miles in was the halfway point, and that's when we really started to contemplate the journey. Georgia seemed so far away, and yet so did Katahdin. But at the same time, it felt as time was passing so fast. I wasn't ready for it to be halfway over, because I still had so much more I wanted to discover about myself. But for the time being, I had bigger challenges on my mind.
The half-gallon challenge is where you try to eat a half-gallon of ice cream in under an hour to gain a little tiny wooden spoon that enters you into the half-gallon club.
Somebody may have just stepped on my heart.
May 23rd, when everything changed in an instant.
I'm at home now. We got back to trail and we started walking and we were playing with this beach ball, and I swung my arm around with my trekking pole in my hand to try to hit the beach ball, and my shoulder popped out. So I'm not on trail right now. And it was one of the most heartbreaking things ever. And I can't finish with my trampoline. And it really sucks. Because I wanted this so badly. And it sucks that it's being taken away from me. I would do anything to just take back that moment that I swung my arm around because everything was going great until that happened, and now I'm at home.
My mom, Rachel, came to pick me up from the hospital and drove me back home to my dad, Jean.
This is that when I talked to you on the phone, I had you on speaker and you were crying and crying, and your grandmother heard you from the other room, and your grandmother got very emotional to hear you cry the way you were crying. The thing I was concerned about was your health and how your shoulder was. And I figured whatever other issues would occur, we would take care of later.
So when I picked you up in Pennsylvania at midnight and you put on your usual game face while anybody else was in the room, and then as soon as the doctor left, you just cried, and you cried the whole way home, and my heart was breaking for you. I knew how much you wanted to finish this trail, and to have it potentially cut short, just the emotional pain that was coming out that so outweighed any physical pain from that shoulder was just breaking my heart. I wanted you to be a little kid again so I could just scoop you up in my arms and kiss you and make it better.
So, yesterday it basically rained all day, and it kind of fit the mood because I was so sad and I was basically crying. But I think it's just bringing out a lot of why I love trail so much, and also kind of what I'm running away from at home. And in the real world, it's just coming all back up because now I am so confused. I don't know what my next step is. I was never supposed to have to get off trail and have to figure out what to do next. I would do anything if I could be back on trail. In the past month or so, I've been thinking about maybe not continuing on trail and stuff, and maybe taking a break from trail just because it's hard to keep hiking every single day even when you don't want to, and it's hard to deal with group dynamics and stuff, and it's hard to keep motivating myself, and it's hard sometimes to hike. Hiking isn't all pretty views and glamorous stuff. There's a lot more that happens.
And you were curled up in bed with your arm in a sling, and your comfort dog would come in and hang out with you, and you looked so sad. And we were both worried about you. And then we saw the negotiator Claire kick in and convince your orthopedist that your shoulder doesn't care where your feet are, with the orthopedist not fully understanding what a rock scramble was.
Well, from the moment that the orthopedist gave you a green light, it was fine with me, but you and I had a discussion about being reasonable.
My parents did not quite understand why I needed and wanted to hike 2,000 miles, but they were still so supportive. So maybe that's what unconditional love is, not understanding somebody's thoughts or reasons, but still being so supportive that you would do anything for them.
I was given a second chance, and I was able to look at my second chance just as that. All of a sudden, I was able to appreciate the beauty just a little bit more. I was able to appreciate the hard miles because I knew what it was like for it to be taken away from me.
Everything felt new and fresh and exciting.
We're going pretty fast. We're going faster than we walk. Whoa.
I didn't realize, though, that going back on trail with an injury brought intense fear. Every time it was a little slippery or I was climbing up and down rock scrambles, I was terrified that I was going to fall and my shoulder was going to pop out and I was going to be in the middle of the woods alone without a way to get help.
I have fallen, and I cannot get up.
The injury turned out to be more mentally challenging than physically challenging. The fear can swallow you, so I had to talk myself down and realize that in the moment I was okay. I would always have someone from my family close by to help me. I was never really alone.
As much as the Appalachian Trail broke me down and took every ounce of my will to keep going, it built me back up again. Before trail, I was in a dark place in which I could not see how things in my life could get better. With everything going on, like COVID college and questioning my own path and purpose and the deep insecurities that I was just not good enough. But the trail reignited my love for adventure and for life. Way back in the Smokies, I woke up early enough and it was supposed to be a rainy, stormy day. As I started hiking, all of a sudden, through the mist, there was a sunrise. I stopped in the middle of the trail with tears running down my face, thinking to myself, how could you not want to live when there's this kind of beauty out there? How could you not feel alive taking in this beauty? The trail gave me confidence in my abilities. I hiked a lot of mountains and I pushed through so much pain that I know I can practically do anything I really put my mind to. It gave me back strength, it gave me back confidence, it gave me back the ability to love life.
And I also wanted a challenge, and 2,193 miles is a big challenge.
The challenge. I'm always looking for another challenge. I'm always looking to push my limits. I love to hike, and this was a great opportunity to challenge myself.
It was a dream of mine since I was a little kid, and I always loved shorter backpacking trips, and I always wished they would never end.
Everyone has different reasons as to why they hiked the AT. I wanted a break from life and to do something hard because doing hard things gives you an amazing sense of accomplishment.
There she is.
Good morning. Today we defeat Todd.
We should have one. We need one of them now.
As I was ascending the last part of the climb up Katahdin, all I could think about was how proud I was of myself. Back in Pennsylvania, when I popped my shoulder out, I could have so easily quit. But I pushed through so much pain when the miles were hard, and when my shoulder hurt, and when I was just done with hiking. And I did it. In Georgia, I was scared that I didn't have it in me to do 2,000 miles, but I did it.
And so on August 7th, after walking over 2,000 miles from Georgia,
I summited Katahdin and completed the Appalachian Trail.
Say hi, everybody. Smile, everybody.